Check. There we go. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? All right. Sounds like we needed some stronger coffee out there. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Aneesh. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Knit. And thank you so much for attending our conversation today on how Taylor's Playbook for winning with Gen Z. Today, I am absolutely thrilled to be joined by Christina Merritt, the Chief Strategy Officer for Taylor. Christina, do you mind kicking us off with a bit of your background and the work you're doing over at Taylor?
Yes, so I lead the strategy practice at Taylor. We are a marketing communications agency. We think of ourselves as shapers of possibility. We have a heritage in public relations and sports and entertainment expertise, and that fuels our point of view on ideas that break through in culture today.
Awesome. And so excited to dig into some of the work that you guys have been doing recently. For those of you hearing about us for the first time at Knit, we are your AI research assistant. We work with amazing brands and partners like Taylor. Through our AI research assistant, we're able to automate and streamline the research process. So our AI helps you generate your survey. It helps you gather responses, analyze the data, and actually build out really powerful narratives and reports with it as well. Now, before we dive into some of this work, Christina, we're really excited. I'd love to hear your thoughts on your philosophy with winning with Gen Z. I know you guys have helped some of the world's best brands understand this next generation, engage with this next generation, but how do you go about doing it?
Honestly, it's very straightforward. As with any audience, it's about diving into their world, immersion, listening, surrounding yourself to understand dreams, motivations, barriers, the right language, all that good stuff, doing research with partners like you, and then distilling the findings to nail the zeitgeist as part of your strategy. And given our background in earned creativity, we are big believers in strong ideas need to generate headlines and stimulate organic conversations. So if it doesn't stimulate a conversation in real life and social, it's not as strong as it should be.
Absolutely. I love it. Easy as 1, 2, 3, right? Insights to strategy to execution. Now, I know we focus a lot of our work with you all around that first step, that really in the inside aspect, the understanding Gen Z. Can you speak a little bit more to why running research with Gen Z is so important and core to the work you're doing?
Yeah, I stole this quote with pride because I think it's so true. We are surrounded by data, mountains of data, but not everything is meaningful. And for a creative agency, for us, it's all about distilling the true insights because that's the hook for any big idea that you are going to develop and that's ultimately going to have an impact in the world.
Absolutely, but it is not the easiest thing to do, right? So I know we've talked a lot about the challenges that agencies, brands run into when it comes to running research. Can you share a little bit more about your experience? Where have the biggest challenges been in understanding, getting those insights on Gen Z?
Short timelines. So we often have 1-week turnarounds to develop a creative brief, a client presentation, and it's hard to embed custom research as a part of it. So thanks to these guys, we've been able to do 3-day turnarounds, and that's huge. The second piece is my take on the 80-20 rule, where oftentimes you do research and 80% just confirms what you already know, which isn't helpful. So we always think of the 20% at the end. Those are the golden nuggets. Those are the aha moments that are really going to lead to a new perspective on the category that you're working on. And achieving that with a partner and being thoughtful about the approach is a big win. And then the last piece is the combo of qual and quant, where it is about the perfect package because you need the scale and the depth, and a partner can guide you on how to achieve that even in a short amount of time so that you don't have to go to multiple vendors and spread yourself too thin. I think we like going to the Knit as a bit of a one-stop shop.
Absolutely, and I think you just underscored some of the things that this partnership has unlocked, right? Through our AI research assistant, we can help you get that insight in days, not weeks. Through the video responses, we're able to get to that core of what the customer is saying or the respondent is saying, that 20%, those golden nuggets. And then finally, that quant-qual combo. You get the what, but you also get the emotion. You get the hard numbers and the emotion behind what the consumer is saying. So really excited now to walk through how you guys have taken some of those insights, built out some incredible strategy, and actually executed it for your customers or your clients, and what the results have been for that. So we'll walk through today, and a couple minutes we have left today to talk about some of the work that Christina's done with Smirnoff, Captain Morgan, Travelers. Would love to kick it off with actually the work you guys did with Smirnoff. I know you did a big activation with them as the official sponsor for the NFL. So can you speak a little bit more about that work?
Yeah, so Smirnoff is the official vodka sponsor. This is the 3rd year, and for this season, it was all about owning kickoff week and making a big splash at the beginning of the season, and then ultimately attracting football fans 21 plus. Smirnoff is about igniting the collective and actually bringing all football fans together, but we all know that the younger generation is particularly difficult to attract.
Yeah, you are not wrong about that. That's also what we're seeing in our data, right? And we actually spoke about it yesterday. For those of you that attended with Jamie over at Overtime, they literally built an incredibly successful business helping brands reach this next generation through sports. But what we're seeing is that Gen Z is 2 times more likely to never watch sports in the first place, and only 1 in 4 of us are actually watching live sports once a week. So not the easiest thing to do, but I know from our research, we found some really great opportunities to engage this next generation through sports. What were some of those key takeaways that really helped you build out that strategy and execution for Smirnoff?
As you see here, emotion and entertainment. So we did a study with these guys, and one aspect was the importance of traditions and rituals. So 79% of people say that that is a key part of their sports experience. We talk a lot about the gamification of sports for the next generation. So it's social, streaming, fantasy sports, betting. So it's a new take on how you experience the game. And then lastly, game day heroes. 62% are very keen on specific game day food and drinks. So for Smirnoff, the goal is to become part of that repertoire.
Awesome. And that really helped you guys align around that key insight, right, to build this activation around. What was that?
The famous coin toss. As we all know, that's kind of the unofficial start of the game. And we thought, that's when people get excited about the possibilities of what's to come, and what if this anticipatory moment, decides more than who kicks off and who receives.
Awesome. Well, let's see how that came to life. I know we have a fun little video to share with the audience today.
As the official vodka sponsor of the NFL, Smirnoff set out to prove we do game days by bringing the most delicious cocktails to the most passionate people, football fans. So, to kick off the 2023-2024 NFL season, we developed a breakthrough idea based on one simple truth. You can't start game day without Smirnoff, and you can't start a game without a coin toss. Introducing Smirnoff Heads or Cocktails, the ultimate coin toss. For every game on opening weekend, each coin toss that landed on tails rewarded 21 fans with free cocktails on game days. All season long. 16 games, 16 coin tosses, 16 chances for fans to win big. Ahead of the first game of the season, we launched the ultimate coin toss by literally tossing a coin on the tallest billboard in Times Square, 21 stories high. And we brought the coin from the screen into real life by minting our very own official coin for the masses. And with the help of our friends Anthony Anderson and Vernon Davis, we rallied fans to our website to enter.
Smirnoff has taken over the coin flip. Fans have a chance to win cocktails all season long.
We're kicking off game days with Smirnoff Heads or Cocktails, the ultimate coin toss.
Ah, yes! Tails means cocktail.
And that's a week thing.
But that's not all. To spread awareness and activate viewers to enter, we created a scannable banner that aired on live TV during games. And all throughout kickoff weekend, we posted live social updates on in-game coin toss results, as well as the total number of winners. The coins landed and made huge impacts, with over 8,000 entries, 863 fans at our footprints, 837 million impressions, more than 35.9 million viewers, 210 total winners. Most importantly, we were able to award lucky fans with free cocktails for the entire season, courtesy of Smirnoff. Who knows? Maybe we'll see the return of heads or cocktails for the most important coin toss of the season on the field at the Super Bowl.
That's awesome. Tails means cocktails. I love that line there. So yeah, tell us a little bit more. I know we got to see a little bit about the impact there, but how did this come to life, or what was the final impact here for Smirnoff?
Yeah, I mean, you saw some of those numbers as part of the video, even increase in market share during the course of the season. But I think ultimately, heads or cocktails, the simplicity and the playfulness of the idea was key, and it allowed us to execute across so many different channels. So you saw out of home, banners during the broadcast, social, the physical coin, footprints. There was a lot of flexibility in how we could execute this, and it led to a very comprehensive 360 campaign that took us from kickoff moment, even, through the course of the season.
Awesome. Now, Smirnoff is not the only spirits customer you guys have, and not the only one you've done a ton of activations around sports with. Share a little bit more about the work you guys have done with Captain Morgan as well.
Yeah, so from vodka to rum, this is more of a multi-year strategy. So they came to us with the goal of a multi-year playbook, figuring out how to attract Gen Z and ultimately bring the brand to the forefront of culture. And we worked with the NIT to kind of do a more foundational study in this regard.
And I got to say, that was one of the more fun studies we've run. We talked to over 100 consumers, gathered close to 100 of these video responses. And what were we able to answer for you through this study?
So it was all about how is the next generation of drinkers disrupting culture? How does that look like for distinct cultural pillars? So we looked at sports, food, music, fashion, gaming, entertainment. And ultimately, this was an effort across all the Diageo brands that we work with. And it was all about understanding more meaningful ways to engage Gen Z.
Awesome. And can you speak a little bit more about those pillars that you developed there?
Yes. So in this case, we then applied the learnings to the NFL campaign for Captain. This was a collective effort with other agencies. The idea was to follow the captain. So it was a scavenger hunt style ideas where you were unlocking QR codes to then uncover adventure at every turn of the season. And we played a role in consulting around the experiences that were kind of coming to life throughout the season, specific to sports, food, and music.
So let's talk about some of those insights there. For sports, one of the things that we saw were that over half of the respondents said that you could recreate that electric atmosphere outside of the four walls of the arena or stadium. How did that translate into your strategy and execution?
Yeah, so if you're not in the stadium, how are you following along? And it led to an experience called the Battle of the Captains. It was specific to New York. Famous question, who's the best team or the most iconic team, the Giants or the Jets? And so we had celebrity team captains that organized a mobile watch party, basically a bar crawl through Manhattan, but with lots of stops along the way involving games, food, drinks, all the good stuff to make your game day special.
That sounds like a ton of fun. And then for the food section of this, right? A lot of that was built on this insight that 75% of Gen Zers said that, social media drives a lot of action in their real life as well. For food, that means being more adventurous, exploring different foods and drinks. How did that come to life for you guys?
So we wanted an unpretentious take on food, and it led to a partnership with Action Bronson, a new type of chef-fluencer. And he nailed a unique formula of game day snacks, wake-up snacks, that actually involved cacio e pepe churros and a wake-up cocktail made of coffee and rum. And there's a whole video that you can watch if you're curious, but it was a fun take on the least traditional game day foods and, a nice morning wake-up to start your Sunday.
And I think they have some outside. I'm just kidding. I wish that would have been awesome. And then lastly, when we look at music, what we found here was that 90% of Gen Zers were discovering music on social media. Through some of the videos, we heard that they were curating their Spotify lists and spending more time curating it than even their social media feeds, like their Instagram feed. Can you speak a little bit more about how that translated into your execution?
Yeah, so in this case, it turned into a house party that became a surprise concert through the course of the night. In the lead up to Thanksgiving, it was a take on, obviously, Friendsgiving, rallying the crew and the friends of Captain Morgan. We had a celebrity host attracting folks to the venue, and then, a Grammy-nominated duo guiding people through the night, but being a form of discovery and adventure, even in the lead up to Thanksgiving.
And the results of this were pretty incredible. Do you mind speaking to the reach and impact of this campaign?
Yeah, so these are results that reflect the full season, and these were just 3 examples that we consulted on amongst many. But it was fun. If you think of a scavenger hunt style idea, it sounds good on paper, but then you also need to execute it and make sure that every time a fan scans a code, there is a true surprise at the end of it all, and something that you want to engage with, that you take away as a memory, and something that is actually meaningful to your experience of the season.
Well, the numbers speak for themselves. You did a great job of that. Now, the last use case we wanted to talk about is the work you guys have recently done with travelers. So golf is a topic that NIT has looked a lot into. We spoke here last year with Liv. We work with the PGA. A lot of change happening with the sports, especially post-pandemic. What's your work with travelers focused on?
Yeah, so this was a pitch that we won last fall, and then we started the relationship at the beginning of the year. We look after their PR and social activities, and the goal is to elevate the Travelers Championship as a signature event and bring new, younger fans to the sport, which has happened since the pandemic, because I think a lot of people opened up to golf, but still you can argue there's a lot of preconception around the wealthy and the traditional and the white men on the course, and breaking that is part of the challenge.
So what are some of the trends that are getting you excited about the change that's happening in this space?
Yeah, I mean, new venues, Topgolf as an entry point, so it's not just the course. There are new ways to play golf, enjoy golf with your friends. The importance of human biographies behind the players, so people want to know about the backstories, not just the action on the course. And then also the role of influencers, golf influencers that give you a new perspective on what the game can look like, because I think it's probably the most classic game you can imagine, but an influencer can bring a lot of fun on TikTok and, of course, other platforms as well. But I think the playfulness that you see today is what we wanted to tap into to attract new fans.
Absolutely. And we're seeing a lot of these trends in the work we're doing as well. Now, how did you translate these insights into a strategy for travelers around the big activation they have coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it was simple, inviting people to discover the remarkable in every moment. Remarkable things is part of the brand equity, so we translated that to the tournament and figured out a way to bring old and new fans together and deliver unexpected perspectives on the game as it unfolds.
So walk us through how that came to life.
So these are just our content pillars that reflect the 3 audiences. So we talk to fans, we talk to players, and we also talk to the community, because there is a big charity component as part of the tournament, proceeds going to a whole collection of charities, volunteers on the ground, etc. So knowing how to talk to each audience in a distinctive way is key. And we brought some content examples as well. So we started posting at the beginning of the year. If you move on, these are just some appetizers. So we did some fun stuff for Valentine's Day around fan love, player announcements as they sign up. The tournament is happening in June, so a lot of activity is building up to that. We did a fun thing on National Umbrella Day, using the icon of the brand, but also finding iconic scenes from shows and movies that involve an umbrella, to post something less expected on TikTok. So you kind of see how we try to be playful and also have custom content for each of the platforms to lead to more of a collection of content that gets people excited as we build towards the tournament.
I love the National Umbrella one. How I Met Your Mother, the Friends, that's awesome. Well, that wraps up a little bit about speaking to these different activations you guys have done, different case studies you guys have done. Christina, thank you so much for coming today and speaking with us and sharing how you're going from insights to strategy to execution. It's been awesome working with y'all these last couple of years, and we're so excited to continue supporting with our insights. We have a couple minutes left, so if we have any questions, we're happy to take them now. Awesome. I think we have a mic coming.
Hi. The Captain Morgan campaign was super interesting, and what I'd love you to dig into is a bit more about the earned impressions, because obviously anyone can buy paid impressions, but earned are getting harder and harder to garner. Could you talk more about the strategy behind those, where you saw them, the type of content that resonated? Was it, for example, the content from Action Bronson? Was it smaller creator content, or like what was like fueling that big number?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of the capture of the experiences in the moment, but then also the content that came out of it, whether it's short form, long form, a collection of things. So, you know, the experience that fans actually lived through, and the social capture amplifying even fan-generated content. So of course brand-led pieces, but also user-generated content that was captured at different moments. Not in the case of Action Bronson, that was obviously a brand-led sponsored piece, but in the case of the mobile watch party, or footage that was captured at the house party that turned into a concert. So you have the mix of what the brand is leading, but also what people who attended were capturing in the moment to make it a more organic package.
Awesome. Any other questions? Great. Well, Christina, thanks again for your time. And thank you all for your time. Really excited we got the opportunity to share this with you.
Amazing. Thank you.